LGBTQ 1-minute news, let's queer up the USA view. Digital leaders press Democrats say what others are too scared to say. At the LGBTQ plus Victory Institute Leaders Conference in D.C., digital creators and public officials urged Democrats to confront the Trump era with unapologetic clarity. Moderator Jonathan Capehart led a panel featuring Charlotte Clymer, Jalen McKee-Rodriguez, Sara Guerrero, and RaeShanda Lias. Clymer declared, quote, you say the things others are too scared to say because that's what leadership means, end quote, warning against political amnesia. Their message is clear. Authenticity beats silence, and silence is a liability. You know, if you remember this conference, this was a conference that gave Biden the Peace Award last week. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? So these people are at the forefront of declaring, yes, this is what the state of the world is, but this is not the time to stay quiet. This is the time to speak your truth as loud and to as many people as possible. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's what they're getting, that's what they're putting outright. To not be silent.
I think that's true because, that's where they've started it. It's kind of like, all boundaries are off. We're just going to say what we feel in this moment, regardless of who we hurt.
Who they hurt, yeah.
Well, mm-hmm. that's what we were talking about earlier is you have people who are in power, right? So you need to say what needs to be said, regardless of what you think the outcome is going to be. Because if you sit there and wait till you say something or you say something, and we're all doing that, then nothing ever gets said. So, and then once one person says it, that gives everybody else the, okay to do it. But that's the problem. You have people in power who are not saying anything because they're afraid they're either going to get kicked out of power. The child in office is going to throw a book at them, which, it doesn't matter what they say. He's going to throw the book at them anyway. So say what you want to say.
Yeah, but it's hard because, again, like our last story, right, when we have a teacher who is not being even thought of by her administration and there's, and something comes up and they're siding with the student. Right. I mean, that's why people don't scream out loud and proud,
And this is exactly what Trump has emulated to us. It's like when he doesn't agree with something or if it's something, it's all negative and it's like, it's nothing. And so, yeah, of course, we're seeing everybody starting to have their own opinions that way. People are starting to act like him.
What did they call it? Something amnesia. What did they call it in the story?
Political amnesia.
Political amnesia. I can see that. I mean, like we're so stunned by so much that we forget what was the first awful thing that was said or done.
Or we just become numb to it.
Well, that is an LGBTQ 1-minute news story. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.